The easiest attack strategy for every Town Hall level will be taught in this video from Town Hall 9 to Town Hall 15. We will break them down in order to help you increase your odds of getting a 3-star with these easy strategies. And since many of these strategies are very similar to one another, they're very transferable between Town Hall levels. So the best value is to watch through the entire video, but I've included video chapters so you can easily review your Town Hall level. So let's first start here at Town Hall 9 with the Witch Slap. This is an incredibly easy attack that works on a plethora of bases. You'll basically want to start by using 3 to 4 witches on either side of the base. This will also allow you to drop in 2 healers per group of witches. This will then allow you to break open any walls that you would need to with wall breakers, and then send in a golem, the rest of your witches, your heroes, and of course, the CC bowlers. All you really want to do at this point is make sure that the witches on the left and the right are creating enough of a funnel for your bowlers and your heroes to go into the core. This can be the centralized town hall, or it could just be a core of the base on an anti-3. But in any case, you want to get the most amount of value from the bowlers. So having rage spells is really nice. If you want to bring a heal spell, you can also do so to keep your bowlers alive tenfold. But you've also got the jump spells that'll get you from one area of the base to the other. And otherwise, your bowlers and your witches are really just going to be moving through. The bowlers in the core and the witches underneath healers pretty much staying invincible, becoming one of the easiest attack strategies. It's only a matter of time before the base gets 3-starred. Unless you don't bring your bowlers, then you're a little bit screwed. So you really want to use the bowlers in that regard, in going through the core and just smashing it. Having the heroes kind of help move through is exactly what's going to help you get a 3-star with this strategy. Now here at Town Hall 10, we have the Zap Dragons, an incredibly easy army that really doesn't matter if you get multiple air defenses or not. Basically, with this strategy, you are mainly looking to remove 2 to 3 to even 4 air defenses with the lightning spells. Sometimes if you see no fly zone compartments, you'll be able to remove all 4 of them. So Zap Dragons is really consistent in that regard. You can get rid of 3 air defenses quite easily and leave the final one for the heroes, if you would like to do so. Otherwise, you just want to then use your heroes and maybe a baby dragon to create one side of the funnel. You could sacrifice a dragon and a baby dragon on the other side, and then you just want to use your lava hound and your dragons. You don't need to bring a lava hound, especially if there's no more air defenses, but I always recommend it because it provides so much great tankage, and it also wastes a slot for the Inferno Tower set to multi. Otherwise, you just want to use your rage spell early on as you get in. Your dragons will do a lot of really good work, and they'll be able to deal with the enemy CC, which is why I don't bring up poison with these strategies, or I don't recommend it, because the dragons can just get through. Otherwise, the Stone Slammer is just going to easily work its way through. It's the best siege machine at this Town Hall level for the dragons, as it provides a lot more value, and it really just does a lot of work. Even if your dragons get blown back by the sweeper, you're gonna be fine. You basically have so much power with the dragons that when there's no air defenses, you can just crush through it. I typically would recommend bringing in a Dragon Rider here at Town Hall 10 in the Clan Castle. It's an incredibly good troop that you can get whether you are requesting it from clanmates at a higher level or you have raid medals. So otherwise, the Dragon Riders are just really, really good, and I heavily recommend them as they do a lot of damage, they have a lot of HP, and they're really good here at Town Hall 10. Otherwise, pairing that up with the dragons, it just makes for a really easy time for a super simple 3-star that can be done on almost any base. Here at Town Hall 11, the Zap Witches remains the supreme strategy. Basically, you're going to use 4 lightning, 1 earthquake around both multi-target infernos to easily dominate this. There's really one other splash building you have to worry about, which is the Ego Artillery. Otherwise, the Zap Witch has nothing to stop. There's no way to mostly stop this attack strategy. You also have the use of either the Log Launcher, which is usually preferred, or the Wall Wrecker. The Wall Wrecker is a really nice tank, while the Log Launcher just guarantees opening walls and dealing damage from a distance. This is really nice when you're able to also use the Grand Warden ability and protect everything alongside the Log Launcher. As long as you have witches going on the left and the right of your entry, and you have your heroes, the King, Queen, and Warden, moving in the core, you're more often than not going to be really safe for a 3-star. A lot of the same tips apply from the Witch Slap, except of course you're not using healers, but you want to make sure that you have a solid funnel that your heroes are going into the core. As long as they do that, you're completely fine. In the Clan Castle, you can run things such as an Electro Titan, which is a really nice way to stop any defensive skeletons, but it's also a really good tank. Of course, I would always recommend other ones such as Yetis and Ice Golems if you wanted to bring in something a little bit more different, but usually it really doesn't matter here at this Town Hall level. So an Electro Titan really provides some nice passive damage with the aura, and also it is a really good tank. But in general, this strategy is really easy, it's super simple, and you can bring a poison spell over a freeze if you want to be able to deal with the enemy Clan Castle. At Town Hall 12, Zap Witches is also by far one of the best strategies. Basically, it's the exact same thing to Town Hall 11. You're zapping out the Inferno Towers that are set to multi on opposite sides. This is pretty much then going to be followed up with the spam witches with the golems and the ice golems to tank, and then you've got the Log Launcher or the Wall Wrecker, the Log Launcher being the most preferred out of all the siege machines. In this case, you now have to worry about the Giga Inferno being one of the biggest things to take care of. So you basically want to line up the Eagle, the third Inferno Tower, yes, you have a third Inferno there, and the Town Hall. Otherwise, it's the same exact strategy. You're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to pop the Grand Warden ability early. You want your King, Queen, and Warden to go into the core. You're going to bring a poison spell to deal with the enemy Clan Castle, but this time you also have the Rage spell that you have as an option. And this can be really good in order to help deal with the Town Hall from the opposite side. This attack strategy is all I've seen at Town Hall 12. It's super consistent. It's really good. There's really no other reason for you not to be using this strategy, but more often than not, this strategy is going to work 9 times out of 10 for you, so I'd heavily recommend trying this army out. It's very similar to Town Hall 11 and super easy to get comfortable with. It's by far the easiest strategy here at Town Hall 12. I don't even need to say more. Now, here at Town Hall 13, smash attacks start to reign supreme, one of which being Super Witches. With there being no poison among the Town Hall, Super Witches remain supreme here. You basically want to start off with a Grand Warden Walk in the Flame Flinger. Quick note is that the Flame Flinger basically takes the spot of what the traditional Zap Super Witch attack once was. Otherwise, you're using the Warden with the Flame Flinger to protect it from mortars and ground expos, being two of the defenses that are the biggest threat to the Flame Flinger. Otherwise, you're using that to create one side of the funnel. The other side is done with the use of the Barbarian King, maybe a baby dragon, maybe some other troops, but you'll want to lure the Grand Warden over with the use of the Super Witches and possibly the Archer Queen. Now, if a ground expo does lock onto your Warden, you might unfortunately have the ability popped, but that's completely fine. As long as you can start working into the core of the base and maybe even removing the Town Hall is really, really important. You might also want to try and go in for the enemy Clan Castle, which is really nice. Otherwise, all you really want to make sure that you're doing is getting a lot of value and, of course, keeping the healers on top of the Super Witches. This is what's going to help you basically get a 3-star on this base. And you just want to make sure that the healers are keeping your Super Witches up top and making sure that what they're able to do is smash through the rest of it, even if they die later on. Now you've also got the use of the Royal Champion. Using her on a little bit more on the back end allows you to kind of get some really nice value, so your Super Witches don't really have to do all too much to get through. You just want to use the jump spells to go from one end of the base to the other, and as long as you're able to do that, the Super Witches should have a lot of free reign getting through the base. Even if that means that you don't really have a lot left over, the Super Witches just have enough HP, they do enough damage, they'll easily get through with no problem, being one of the easiest strategies. Even if you're going in away from the Eagle Artillery, it's an incredibly strong strategy just because of the amount of HP and those big boys. Now here at Tunnel 14, the Super Bowler Smash reigns supreme. This is by far an easy strategy because even I used it to crush every base back when Tunnel 14 was the max. So how you'll basically use this is by using the Flame Flinger on one side of the base. In this specific instance, the attacker uses the Flame Flinger to go for the Town Hall. On the other side though, the attacker uses the Warden Walk in order to create a little bit of a funnel and also remove some other compartments or a couple buildings from the compartment, including the multi-target Inferno. So basically, you'll want to use the Flame Flinger to create one part of the funnel, usually typically bringing in Ice Golem and or the King with the Witches in order to basically create one side of the funnel. If your Flame Flinger gets locked on, which especially if it gets locked on by an Expo, you might want to use a freeze, and skeleton spells might help. This is not really recommended in most scenarios, but can work in very specific cases. You kind of want to just use the Warden Walk on the other side to create a small funnel. You can sacrifice a rage spell if you know that you can clear the compartment. Otherwise, try to make sure that you're able to send in your heroes to move in with the Super Bowlers, which is the main power of this army. And as your funneling continues, the Super Bowlers do really well underneath Rage, which is why they're so good. You want to use a Rage spell within the core of the base alongside a jump and an early Warden ability. This is basically going to help the Super Bowlers do a crazy amount of damage to just demolish the core, which is why I always recommend them. The Royal Champion actually comes in on the back end of the base, where you can more than easily clear through the rest of it very comfortably. This is why Super Bowlers work so well. The Super Bowlers can smash a large chunk of buildings thanks to the amount of range that they have, and then the Royal Champion can just come in on the back end and absolutely clear all the rest of the defenses, which is why I typically recommend this strategy because of just how easy and simple this is. Now at Tunnel 15, we had a lot of easy strategies: Zap Witches, Super Archer Blimp Titans, and even Super Archer Blimp E-Drags. But the Zap Titans is literally the easiest of all of them. You're basically treating this very similarly to how you would use a Zap Super Witch attack. You're going to use the lightning spells, which typically is going to be 1 Earthquake with 6 to 7 lightning spells for an Expo, the Monolith, or a Scattershot or Inferno Tower. Those are the things that you want to look for. If you can remove a Spell Tower, that would be even better. But all you're doing is you're then using the Grand Warden with the Flame Flinger. Be very careful of Teslas, Expos, mortars, and even ground skeletons that could be there. So try to be really prepared with troops to help support it, even if that means you need to use a freeze. Otherwise, that is going to create one part of the funnel. The Flame Flinger's job is to go in for the Town Hall or at least clear a funnel. You'll then set up the other side of the funnel with Sneaky Goblins and any other cheap troops, and then you'll send in your Electro Titans with your Queen moving in. You basically just want easy and predictable pathing as you move across. You can use your Barbarian King with Witches to cut off one part of the funnel, but what's really nice about Electro Titans is they absolutely just shred enemy CCs, which is so nice for this attack, where you don't always need to bring a poison spell, or the poison spell just offers a little bit of an extra oomph when dealing with enemy clan castle troops. Otherwise, the rage spells are really nice. Using one early and using one in the core allows your Electro Titans to get a large amount of value. And as long as you can keep the healers on the Titans, they are going to be completely fine to help you get a 3-star. As long as you have those troops remaining, you should have a large amount to be able to get the 3-star. Now you've also got the Royal Champion. You can use this Royal Champion on the back end or to remove a key building such as the Monolith. This is where I would typically recommend Diggy in almost every scenario. Of course, if you don't have Diggy, I think you're going to struggle with this because Lassie doesn't really do as much as Diggy, and Diggy also has a lot of HP. Otherwise, it's a really simple strategy that basically works really well on a lot of different base types, and being one of the easiest options just because Electro Titans are that easy. Now, attacking is just one part of Clash of Clans. If you want a strong base that'll defend against a lot of strategies, make sure you check out this video right here, where it's going to give you the best war bases for every tunnel level between Tunnel 9 and Tunnel 15. Or if you want some weekly bases from my Discord server, make sure you check out the link in the description below for that.